So just a warning, this is going to be a little bit of a different video. I'm not going to do any editing. It's just going to be me talking, but I wanted to talk about the AJ Ferrari debacle. And to me, if Tom Brands doesn't play his cards exactly right in this situation, it could ruin the Iowa program and potentially cost him his job. And I'll explain why I think that throughout the video, but I want to do a quick rundown of the drama that happened on the mat. And I won't rehash everything because you've seen the footage, but the short is AJ gets the takedown in overtime, wins the match, shoves Zach's head into the mat, or kind of pushes it down towards the mat. There's a little bit of a scuffle, and then AJ throws a punch and gives him the bird. The ref awards the victory to Zach, disqualifies AJ from the tournament, and when Zach gets his hand raised, the Iowa crowd cheers. And AJ's response to that is to do the splits and give the double finger to the Iowa fans in the crowd. So AJ has just ticked off a bunch of the Iowa fans. And I have read through the Iowa Hawkeye report over the last 2 days. And most of the Iowa fans are like, we don't want any part of this. Like, this is not good for the team. We don't want this. So that's the first thing that Tom Brands has to navigate very carefully is the fans are not on board as of this moment, at least from what I can tell. And so if you're going to bring wrestlers onto your team that the fans don't want, you run a risk of alienating your fan base and really disengaging them from the team. So then on top of the AJ debacle, you have Anthony Ferrari that wrestled Caleb Ratchey at 149 pounds. Caleb gets the win, and as they're walking back to center, Anthony shoves him in the back. Caleb turns around and gives him the old Ferrari flex right to him, and then follows that up with saying this in a post-match interview. These guys think they're going to come in here and be the guys. I had other things to say about that. And I want you to remember that Cody Chittum, he now wrestles for Iowa State, used to be committed to Iowa and wrestled out of the Iowa Hawkeye Club for probably a year. So Cody Chittum made bonds with the Iowa wrestlers. He made friends. And from my understanding, Cody was sad to leave Iowa, but he left Iowa because Anthony Ferrari committed and was going to come to Iowa, and he didn't want to be on the same team as Anthony Ferrari. So maybe there are some wrestlers on the Iowa program, on the Iowa roster, that took exception to Cody leaving because Anthony Ferrari was coming in. So maybe there's some Iowa wrestlers on the roster that aren't on board either with the Ferraris coming in. So that's risk number 2 for Tom Brands. You have to play this very carefully. You can't allow there to be a division on the team between the current active Iowa wrestlers on the roster and Anthony Ferrari and AJ Ferrari coming into the team. Because as of right now, it feels like there's a clear line between active roster wrestlers. I'm sure everyone on the Iowa team now did not appreciate AJ Ferrari taking a swing at their teammate. So you got to tread carefully there if you're Tom Brands. And I say all that because it appears that Tom Brands is still potentially going to pursue having AJ and Anthony on the team, because in his post-match interview at the Soldier Salute, all he said was, not everything was rosy, right? We got to figure some things out.
We got to clean some things up too. And, I'm not going to talk specifically, but it wasn't all rosy. It wasn't all rosy. So we got to clean some things up.
And then AJ comes out with an Instagram apology stating, I would like to come out and formally say I am disappointed in my reaction this weekend. I let my emotions get the best of me, and that is something I will continue to work on. Iowa has been good to me. I deeply regret my behavior. So I don't know if there is some sort of talks, but AJ felt prompted to try to mend some sort of relationship with Iowa and the Iowa fan base. So to me, it still feels like there's a real possibility that AJ and Anthony end up at Iowa, and Tom Brands is still going to pursue this. So this ends up in one of two ways. If the Ferraris come in, one of two things are going to happen. The first is the good one, right? They come in, they mesh with the team, they get to wrestle, everything's fine, they turn themselves around. Tom Brands gives very clear expectations and very clear boundaries. We're not doing any of this extra antics or trash talking. You're not punching your teammates. You're not shoving them as they're going back to center, right? The Ferraris are big personalities. They're going to showboat. They're going to flex. They're going to yell 665 deadlift. That's all fine. That's all good and well, but they have to let go of the antics. If they do that and AJ comes and wins 2 national titles and Anthony Ferrari gets on the podium a couple times and Angelo comes in and wins a couple national titles, right? And they turn their behavior around, this is going to end well. They'll probably be back in the good graces with the Iowa fans and with the teammates. And the Ferraris have a lot of incentive to be on their best behavior. Because if it doesn't work out at Iowa, their college career is probably over. What would likely happen is AJ's done, Anthony's done, and Angelo probably decommits and transfers to Virginia Tech or one of the universities he was looking at. So that's option number one. Option number two is this: it's a total disaster. The Ferraris come in, nothing changes, there's still a bunch of antics. The current wrestlers on the team don't like AJ, they don't like Anthony. There's a total divide. The fans don't like AJ, the fans don't like Anthony, and it just creates a super toxic environment within the team and the fans. You're going to alienate your fans. There could be a mass exodus of transfers leaving to find other programs to wrestle for. And the recruits, what parent and what wrestler is going to want to come wrestle for a team that looks like they can't stand each other? Not very many. And so if you lose your fans and you lose your current wrestlers and you lose your recruiting, what do you have? You don't have a program. And so the only option at that point would be the AD would have to fire Tom Brands and hire a new head coach to kind of regain the trust of the fans and recruits to get the program rolling again. So that's why I say Tom Brands has got to tread carefully, because if it goes bad, it could go really bad. And I guess we'll find out here in the next few days what's going to happen, because we're in second semester. If they're going to be on the team, we're going to find out here pretty quickly. And it's a shame that there was so much drama at the Soldier Salute, especially for Iowa fans, because there were some actually pretty good mat results for Iowa. Drake Ayala beat 2 top 10 ranked guys in Patrick McKee and Jory Volk, and we're not really talking about it. And due to the makeup of 125 pounds, that kind of puts Drake as a title contender. Real Woods got a top 5 win. He's still looking solid. Michael Caliendo, very convincing win over teammate Patrick Kennedy. So there's some good things that happened on the mat, but we're just not talking about it. And then the last thing I'll say is this performance from AJ Ferrari, he's not beating Aaron Brooks with this version of AJ Ferrari. It took him to overtime to get a overtime win over Zach Glacier. And so he's going to have to get a lot better. Now, AJ's a defense guy. His game is he's impossible to take down. I get that. And he probably hasn't wrestled that much in the past year. That's obviously part of it. And he got substantially better throughout his true freshman year. So he has a lot of time to get better between now and March. But as of right now, he's probably not beating Aaron Brooks. He's probably not even going to beat Trent Hidley or Zach Elam. So he's got to get a lot better if he's going to win a national title. But first things first, Tom Brands has got to figure out this team chemistry, or I'm not sure how any of this success continues long term. Subscribe.